The problem is our money. I don't know what's wrong with people. This is the biggest change in world history, the shift from fake money to crypto, to digital money. And I'm on it as hard as I can. So the dollar went down, the price of silver and gold went up. So now I'm going to trade that for Bitcoin.
Is it too late to buy Bitcoin? That is the question. And I'm going to tell you emphatically, the answer, at least in my opinion, is no. And who am I? Well, I had a chance to speak with Roger Ver, the Bitcoin Jesus, as they call him, back in 2015. I'm not going to exactly give a lot of details about that conversation, but I was more of a gold and silver, well, a silver bug. And my conversation with him was more about silver, and he was talking more about Bitcoin. And I feel like a fool for not really letting it sink in. But, you know, as they say, hindsight is 20/20. But I didn't make the mistake of completely ignoring Bitcoin forever. I took a nice chunk in 2019 when it was $10,000. And then shortly after, early 2020, I believe it was, when it was $7,000 range. And then again at $17,000. So I've taken my position on Bitcoin. I've made a few mistakes, but at the end of the day, I learned, I got burned, and I learned a lot of important lessons. And so I'm going to share with you my insights as to why, you know, Bitcoin is far from reaching its potential. So that's what you're going to learn in this video. We're a channel about upside. We are called the Upside Scoop. So Bitcoin is one of those things that has major upside. And I want to help you reach your maximum upside. And in your portfolio of different investments, Bitcoin has a place. Now let's start with number one. It is still a small market. So here's what you need to pay attention to. Okay, gold has a market cap right now. All the gold above Earth that is investment grade, it is worth $70 trillion. Okay, and Bitcoin's entire market cap is $2 trillion. So when someone tells me Bitcoin is expensive, I say, expensive compared to what? You know, that's the biggest thing. I hate when people say expensive without any context. You know, when I quote a fee to a client for legal services, they say that's expensive. Is it really expensive, or is it just expensive because you think it's expensive? Compare it to actual market rates. So again, keep that in mind. 30 trillion market cap for all the gold in the world and 2 trillion for all the Bitcoin in the world right now. Now, you might think apples and oranges. What's the comparison? Well, understand this. Gold and Bitcoin are serving very similar functions. And let's talk about scarcity, okay? Gold is scarce. You know, it's a scarce resource. It exists in the Earth's crust. You have to mine it and basically refine it. Bitcoin, you have to mine it, and it's a digital asset. So it's digital gold. And the thing about this is that there's a scarce amount. There's only 21 million Bitcoins, okay? So if you hold one Bitcoin, you have 1/21 millionth of an entire asset class, which is amazing. So the thing is, we are going into a digital age. If you believe that, then this makes sense. Because you know, the advantages that Bitcoin has over gold. Try lugging gold, $1 million of gold through the airport. You can't. But $1 million of Bitcoin, it's undetectable because it's not, it's digital. It's in the air, it's in the cloud. So we are going into a digital world. If you're clinging to the past, understand that we are moving into we are in a digital age, and it's only increasing. So digital assets are the future and even the present. I don't see Bitcoin as a very good peer-to-peer currency. It's not being used for that. You have Bitcoin Cash, which is something Roger Ver is heavily involved in. But anyhow, let's not go over this too much. This is not about him. But by the way, he's in the news, and the US government got on his back, and they're trying to, you know, put him in prison for 10 years, like 100 years. He settled it for $48 million. This guy is worth probably more than $1 billion because of how much he invested in Bitcoin when he believed it was a good peer-to-peer alternative to currency. And the idea is Bitcoin Cash is actually what Bitcoin is supposed to be. But anyway, I digress. We're talking about Bitcoin on this video. Now, the next thing is this. So I told you it's a scarce resource. It's basically digital gold. There's an institutional turn. If you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss out on opportunities. So for decades, the governments of the world hoarded gold. And now, what are they doing? They're actually pushing to have Bitcoin as an asset class. Under Donald Trump, we're actually seeing support for Bitcoin mining and talks of strategic reserves. The way gold has been a strategic reserve for the United States, the US government may move to cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin is the prime candidate for that. So imagine if the US government was backed by Bitcoin, the US dollar was backed by Bitcoin. What would that do to the value of Bitcoin? It would surpass, because the market cap of all the money in the world is far greater than gold. So if it's functioning, if it supplants gold, we can see some really crazy numbers for Bitcoin. Now, here's the thing. Number 4, another thing that I want to talk about is what happens if you're at least not a Bitcoin maximalist, but at least pragmatist. You'd see that Bitcoin could at least reach parity with gold, because Bitcoin is stealing gold's market cap, but people might always say we can't completely, diversify out of gold. So let's just say you're not a maximalist, you're a pragmatist, where you think gold and Bitcoin might become in parity. So if that's the case, parity, it's a simple math equation. Right now, gold is worth 30 trillion and Bitcoin is worth 2 trillion. So you add the two, you get 32 trillion, and then you divide by 2 and you get 16 trillion. So if Bitcoin's market cap went to 16 trillion, that's an 8 times jump. It is possible. It is possible. And if that happens, also with inflation, by the time we get to that point, Bitcoin goes in these cycles. It could, if it continues in these predictable cycles, we could see it kind of level off and get parity with gold sometime around maybe in 10 years. I mean, these are rough estimates. Do your own math, do your own due diligence. But it's on its way up, okay? So that's what I see as a potential. Now, here's the risk. Let's be honest. What if there's something else that replaces Bitcoin? What if there's something else that's a cryptocurrency? I think that's unlikely. It's the granddaddy of them all. It has network effects already. All these other cryptocurrencies are associated and attached to it. It has brand dominance and it has first mover advantage. And it's already established and cemented itself as digital gold. That's the purpose that it's serving. It's not a peer-to-peer currency like it originally was supposed to be in the white papers, but it's more of just digital gold. It's a reserve thing that people hold, and it stores its value and it goes up, just like gold. So if you believe in the digital age and that we're moving more towards a digital asset economy, then Bitcoin is the place to be. I hope that's convinced you that we are still very early. Bitcoin is only worth $2 trillion in the grand scheme of things. That's half the value of some of these top 5 Fortune 500 companies. So Bitcoin is tiny. All right, so anyway, if you miss this boat and you still don't put anything in Bitcoin, you're probably going to regret it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even a year from now, possibly. And don't be that person who says, I wish I did. I'm not saying how much of your portfolio to put into Bitcoin. I'm just saying participate. Don't be a hater. Be a player. Be a participator. And be reasonable. Don't be stubborn. And again, do your own due diligence. So this is the Upside Scoop. We break down stories with massive upside. Bitcoin is one of them. And if you like this video, it hit your vibe, go ahead and hit subscribe. We're trying to do something here, and we can't do it without getting subscribers interested in the channel. I hope this was interesting to you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.